Hey, what's up everyone? This is Silver Slayer. Welcome back for another video. Lies, rumors, and misconceptions about silver is the topic today. Before we get in this video, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe if you already haven't, and I also have some exciting news. I started a second channel. I'm replacing my crypto channel with a new channel I officially launched. The first video was posted yesterday called Coin Conspiracy. We already have 3,000 subscribers. I deleted all the content from my Crypto Slayer channel. It was just about Bitcoin and stuff like that. But I wanted to make a new channel, more of a news type channel about precious metals and cryptocurrency, combining the two. Just more of a news source type of informational and educational, updated type of content you can reach out to if you just want to stay updated in the world of precious metals and cryptocurrency. My Silver Slayer channel is going to be more about stacking strategies, unboxings, stuff like that. So this channel is going to be more of a news type, resource type channel, and my Silver Slayer channel is going to be more for like the stacking stuff. So I'm excited to launch this. Make sure you guys go subscribe to it if you are interested in that, and I'm excited to start new stuff. You know, this sparked from all the support on my channel. I think it's time to start a new channel, and I'm curious where this can go, whether it's going to be an online store, whether it's going to be a news blog, whether it's going to be a website. I don't know, but Coin Conspiracy is my new project, so go make sure you head over there and support that as well. So anyways, let's jump into this video. We're talking about conspiracies, rumors, and stuff about silver. I found an interesting article called "The 5 Myths of Silver Investing." By the way, the link to my new channel will be in the description, and also the articles in this video will also be in the description, so if you want to check them out for yourself. But this is an article posted by Ryan Jordan, and he's talking about the 5 myths of silver investing, and it's really interesting because there are myths about silver. A lot of people do have misconceptions, and they're not saying they're brainwashed, but they do have stereotypes against things, especially something like precious metals that is kind of going against the grain, and it definitely is more of an outcast type thing compared to stocks or, stuff like that. Or even, even compared to silver ETFs, precious metals is more of a going against the grain type thing, and people have these stigmas against it, and they don't really understand or are educated on the things that us stackers do know, or they just don't have. They have more faith in the government than themselves in some instances. Which could make sense for security reasons. But anyways, I want to go over this article, but it is really interesting. So it goes in by saying, oftentimes perception is not reality. Rules of the day, with thousands or millions of speculators placing short-term bets with assets like silver. These perceptions are particularly strong given that the paper players in the silver market are often control the price in the short term 6 to 8 months. Since there is so much more paper silver than physical metal out there, as I write this, we are seeing unwinding of quite a bit of speculation, paper activity in the COMEX, and often interest numbers, meaning the numbers in the players in the casino learned to the levels about where they would fall in 2008 when silver was below $10. The price of silver has fallen, but as far as I'm concerned, there is no fundamental reason for silver to be so cheap, and I've mentioned that as well. Instead, silver fundamentals are badly overshadowed by misconceptions or outright lies about silver. Here are 5 common myths about silver that I bet many speculators still believe that are true, and that's a great introduction. That's what I was basically just summing up, and I actually made a video about this the other day as well. I'm diving a little deeper into this subject with this video, but it's so true. People really are just either ignorant or just closed-minded, or they just cannot see the reality of things because they have such a big stereotype, or such a a focused stereotype on what they believe in or what they're comfortable doing. So anyways, number 1 is silver is an economically sensitive metal. During the recession of 2008 and 2009, the CPM group estimated that silver demand from photography, jewelry, and industry dropped by roughly 80 million ounces. Mining supply also increased by 30 million ounces, along with 15 million or so increasing in recycling. So in order for the price of silver to remain stable, theoretically, you would need to you would need investors to make up this roughly 100 million ounce difference, which is exactly what they did. Given the fact that people understood they need to buy precious metals during the banking crisis, investment demand for silver increased by nearly 100 million ounces at the same time as demand fell and other sources of silver also increased. Over the course of 2008 and 9, the silver price more or less remained stable, even as it saw wild swings induced by paper trading. So, during one of the worst recessions in modern memory, real physical demand for silver canceled out declining industrial uses. An important point to remember when someone tells you that silver price is destined to go down in the next recession, which is a really good point. I brought that up in my last video. So this is number 2. Silver coins and bullion are more plentiful than gold. This is in fact the exact opposite, and this is what I keep telling everyone, just because gold is more expensive and is the royal metal doesn't mean that silver is more plentiful and it's an oversaturated market. Being generous, there's maybe 1.4 billion ounces of silver coins and bullion in the world versus roughly 3 billion ounces of gold coins and bullion. Yes, it's true that recently about 80 million more ounces of silver, bullion, and coins are produced each year than gold ones, but that still means that it will take over 15 years before silver stockpile in the world will even equals that of gold, let alone becomes greater. So why is the price of silver something like 50 times cheaper than gold? Asked the paper speculators. And it's not even 50 times cheaper anymore, it's 90 times cheaper. This article was written a couple years ago. The gold to silver ratio is actually above 90 to 1 right now. So the ratios have even doubled since this article, which makes it even crazier. And it's really interesting that people think that, if you see silver 90 times cheaper than gold, you would think that there's something going on, which I'm also going to talk about in this other article that I'll be going into after this. But the third one is the high price of silver will drive down demand from industry. This one has no basis, in fact, for the period from 2000 to 2010. During that decade, industrial demand, according to most estimates, basically remained flat. This is amazing when you consider that the price of silver went from $4 to over $20 in that period. But because silver is used in such small amounts in things like electronics and solar panels, increasing silver costs yet to dampen demand for high desired toys like computers and cell phones. And many silver experts believe so much demand will only increase in the years ahead, which I've made plenty of videos about this, which it is a good point. That's a really interesting fact to make, though, because when we do talk about the industrial uses of silver, I do talk about it's going to be needed, used more and more in technology, but it is on smaller scales for like how he mentions in electronics and solar panels. I don't know the exact amount in grams or ounces that's in these things, but it is interesting to look at that point. But you still have to look at the bigger picture, where the amount of cell phones, amount of electronics, laptops, cameras, everything that it is used in, especially on a bigger production wise, surplus wise scale that we need it for on a global scale, the technological advancement we're moving into, the cell phones will add up. The actual amount of silver that's in these technologies might not be a lot, but the amount of product that is being produced that has silver in it is appreciating rapidly, and that's something to still look at. So anyways, myth number 4, at the right price, billions of ounces of silver will get recycled, and this is something I always talk about. Silver is not recycled at the rate gold is. But anyway, let's see what he has to say about this. It's interesting that he says all these points, because I didn't even really read this article, and this is stuff I talk about all the time. So it is good to get refreshed, to know that, the same types of things that I mentioned in my videos, other people are also talking about. But anyways, he goes on to say, many do believe that there are nearly 6 times as many ounces of silver jewelry and silverware than gold jewelry in the world. So you might think that there's a lot of silver that will get melted down someday. One problem in the argument is that so much silver is neither cost or more even than the current bullion spot price is, and held in very small amounts over the world by 1 billion people. They don't care to sell for any long time, if ever. And gold is usually scrapped. There's coins, there's jewelries, there's rings, stuff like that, wedding bands. And a lot of gold is remelted. It's pawned to pawn shops and gold and silver coin shops. But silver is used more in the technological world as an actual beneficial aspect for technologies. So when it's scrapped in a junkyard, they're not recycling the silver out of all these phones at the rate that gold is getting remelted at these pawn shops, especially since gold is more expensive. People have a higher desire and a higher motivation to recycle their gold. There's no profit in trying to recycle a laptop and getting $5 of silver out of it. But when you have a 20, a $1,500 wedding band, you can take to your pawn shop and remelt it or recycle it. There's profit in that, so there's a higher rate of that happening. So if gold's coming out the ground roughly 9 to 1 compared to silver, then you can see that a lot of silver is being lost a lot quicker than gold. So if the ratio is 90 to 1, it comes out the ground 9 to 1. Is a lot of silver is getting lost compared to gold getting recycled. You can see how that ratio can extremely be beneficial in silver's favor for the underdog or the more potential, the undervalued aspect of it. So anyways, let's go into myth number 5. Retail silver investors are fickle. There is no plan to remonetize silver. And this is one that's silly to me. This myth had some basis in truth, at least according to experts who tracked silver buying and selling activities in the 1980s and 90s. Many agree that retail investors sold far more silver than gold during the 20 years between 1985 and 2005, probably to the tune of 1 billion ounces. So many felt that silver investors were flakes who really didn't have the staying power of gold investors, or as I mentioned above, just been the cause of that average investors followed the lead governments, since those governments dumped far more silver than gold during the same period. Gold is the only precious metal held by central banks in addition, which is true. But if we're looking back to the gold standard, you could say something like that, where it was backed. But silver certificates, there's ETFs, option markets, and I definitely think that there's more silver investors nowadays that see, because it's cheaper, because the gold to silver ratio is out of whack. A lot of people are actually trading their gold for silver right now, or selling their gold and buying silver with it, because silver is extremely undervalued, where gold is extremely overpriced. Gold is at very high rates right now, where silver's down. So I feel like most people that are in precious metals are actually buying silver. So I'm curious to see where that goes in the future. If the ratio does start to fluctuate back, who knows? But I definitely think that people are becoming more aware of the beneficial properties silver has. So anyways, let's go into the next article. This is talking about Merrill Lynch caught criminally manipulating precious metals markets for thousands of times over the last 6 years. And this is interesting because we knew silver was in a bubble, but I'm also interested to see how big of an influence this really had on silver and gold prices. When you look at silver and gold prices, especially looking at price charts or price predictions, there's so many factors that play into what the price of silver or gold is actually worth, whether it's the mining costs, whether it's the supply versus demand, whether it's the weight of the dollar or how strong the dollar is, whether it's how stable the economy is at that point, silver shortages, how much industrial use it's having, how much is getting recycled, etc. So when something like this happens, I don't know how big it is influencing it, but if there is trillions of dollars going in and out, that are criminally manipulating it, then there definitely is a possibility that it is heavily influenced by this. So this is an interesting article, and I'm interested to see where precious metals go from this, whether it's bad or good news in the society, or in the world of silver investing. Because a lot of times speculation can influence prices. It scares buyers and sellers, and some people could panic sell, some people can definitely be afraid to buy or put their money into something if they hear a negative connotation about it. But anyways, let's go into this. So this is talking about Merrill Lynch criminally manipulating silver and gold markets with trillions of dollars. So on Tuesday, after the close, the CFTC announced that Merrill Lynch Commodities, a global commodities trading business, agreed to pay $25 million to resolve the government's investigation into a multi-year scheme by precious metals traders to mislead the market for precious metals futures contracts traded in the COMEX. This announcement was made by the assistant attorney, and I want to kind of skim through this because it's long. In other words, if the Merrill Lynch Commodities Group was an individual, he would have gotten a yay old perp walk. So they admitted at the beginning of 2008, continuing through 2014, precious metals traders employed by MLCI schemed to deceive other market participants by injecting materially false and misleading information into the precious metals futures market, which is really interesting. So and it's interesting to see the time frame, and also that it was COMEX and the futures contracts, because I thought that it was globally, it was scaled into the physical precious metals as well. But that's even more interesting to see how this would affect the physical bullion price, or if it would just affect more of the paper silver markets. So anyways, it goes to say they did so in the now traditional manipulating way by placing fraudulent orders for precious metals futures contracts that that the traders placed the orders they intended to cancel before execution, which is interesting. It makes the price look like it's going up or down higher than it really is, knowing that they're going to, they're going to be canceling the trade or the order. You can also place buy and stop orders, etc. Some people don't know how to trade. If you're not into trading with stocks or cryptocurrency or anything, you can place buy and sell orders when you're trading on these exchanges, and other people can see what the orders look like. So it can look like people are buying up a whole bunch of silver contracts or whatever, and then they cancel the order. So it almost looks like it's going to explode, or get bought out or sold out, and really it's a false flag. So anyways, in doing so, the traders intended to spoof or manipulate the market by creating the false impression of the increased supply or demand that will in turn fraudulently induce other market participants to buy and sell futures contracts at quantity. Because once people see all these orders being placed in, they think, oh, silver's going to take off, so they buy some. So they've been hiring people to go in and spend trillions of dollars doing this, falsely manipulating the markets in these exchanges, looking like silver is about to have huge buy and sell orders, which is actually really crazy and it's really interesting. Nowadays, nowadays you would think that they would have some type of measurement to determine who's doing this. I know cryptocurrency is a little different, because everything's published on the blockchain, which is a public database. So anything that happens behind the scenes, no one can get away with, because all information is global and public. But these are little different situations, especially because there is no really, I mean, it's illegal, but there's no one to say that you can't cancel an order, because if you do set a buy or sell order, you should be able to cancel it if you wish to. If the price rises or lowers and you're not comfortable with that, you should be able to. But at the rate they did it at was actually incredible, and it's highly illegal. So I'm glad that that this came to light, and I'm glad that they did not get away with it. But it is a warning sign to people out there. But anyways, I want to wrap the video up here. It's getting pretty long. Hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe if you already haven't. Also, make sure to go check out the Coin Conspiracy, my new channel. I already posted a video, so go check it out. Make sure to go like, subscribe on that channel as well. This was Silver Slayer. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.